Hey, welcome back to the Press Gang Restaurant and Oyster Bar here in Halifax, Nova Scotia, everybody. I'm Chef Brian Quirkery. Today, we're gonna do one of my favorite summer appetizers. Yellowfin tuna tartar with salsa bandera and some fresh greens. Let's get right to it. First off, I'm gonna use some spring onions. Now we're just gonna take these guys, and again, remember, curl those fingers. We wanna chop the onion, not the fingers. We'll add those onions to our bowl. Then we're going to take a piece of this beautiful yellowfin tuna. Look at that. Look at the color of that. That's what you're looking for. Nice cherry red, right? No blemishes. Just a beautiful piece of fish. Let's take a chunk of that tuna and we're just going to cut it down. We're going to go through it again and then once again give it a nice small dice. And we're going to put that right into the bowl with our green onions. Give those a nice little mix around. Now I'm going to add a little bit of some sesame oil. I've got some soy sauce, a little bit of apple cider vinegar, just to give it some brightness, make it shine. We'll give it some sesame seeds. I use a mixture of black and white sesame seeds, just to give it an extra little punch. A few crushed chili flakes. We'll give that a touch of salt and some pepper. And we'll mix that all up together nice. Making sure that we get a nice coating on all of the tuna. We're gonna let that sit and marinate for a little while. While that's happening, we're gonna make some salsa bandera. Salsa bandera, it's fun to say. Also known as pico de gallo, all kinds of different names for it. It's a Mexican salsa. So we're gonna start with nice red onion. So we're gonna have some nice thin slices here, half, and then come back down through it again. Next, I'm gonna be using an English cucumber. I'm gonna nip the ends off there like that. This is a mandolin. You want to be real careful with these guys. I'm going to run the cucumber down that blade like that. Make a nice even strip. I'm gonna take that in half. And then we're just gonna cut these guys down into long strips and then just go through them, tiny little dice. That's gonna go into the bowl with the onion that we did. Next, let's take care of this red pepper here. We're going to take off the top, take off the bottom. Just as you can see the connectors from the seed core to the skin of the pepper, I'm going to go around that and separate the pepper from the seed core. Then we want to remove this white stuff. That's called pith. It's bitter and I don't really like the texture of it. So I'm just going to go in through and as thin and as close to the surface of the membrane as you can. Just kind of go through it and remove all that white stuff. I'm going to cut that down into manageable pieces. And then again, as per the cucumber, just going to cut it into strips. Then we'll go back through it again to create that nice small dice. Into the bowl with the onion and cucumber. And then we'll just continue on with the rest of the pepper. I've got some nice Roma tomatoes here to play with. The inside of that tomato, the seed core, there's a lot of juice in there. I don't necessarily want my salsa bandera to be really juicy. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna remove the seed core from the tomatoes. So what I'm gonna do is this little nub at the top where the stem was attached once to the tomato. And I recommend that you use, if you have one, a serrated paring knife. It makes the job a whole lot easier. So I'm gonna hold this sort of like a pencil and just kind of go around the tomato and remove that stem piece. We're going to take the tomato and cut it in half and quarter it. We're going to start down at the bottom of the tomato and work our way back up to the stem, just taking out that seed core, and then any remaining pulp that's left in there, just take that, put it in with that. So all I'm left with is the flesh of the tomato. And then we're just going to take all of these tomatoes that we prepped and in the same sort of theory as the peppers and the cucumbers, cut them into strips and then into small dice. All right, so our tomatoes are cut. I'm gonna put that in with the rest of the mix. What's a little salsa without a little heat? We're gonna do the same thing with a jalapeno pepper. We'll add that jalapeno into the mix and we'll season it up. Got some salt, got some pepper, a little bit of lime juice, some smoked paprika, rice wine vinegar, And then we're just going to take some fresh ginger, put it on the microplane, get that all nicely grated up. That goes in there, and now we're just going to give it a nice mix. Excellent. And we'll get that all together. Fresh organic greens. I'm going to season it with a little bit of olio estepa, salt, and some pepper. We'll mix that around nicely. Okay, just looking to get a bit of a shine on the leaves like that. I've got this bowl on a plate spinner. It's like a lazy Susan. Spin that around, get it moving, and that lets me have a nice circle frame on the plate. That's a nice green onion vinaigrette that I've put down first. Then we're going to put our plating ring in the center. That nice dressed fresh organic greens we're going to place down into the ring. We'll go to our Salsa Bandera. We're going to put a few spoons of that in there. Now once you get it into the ring there, we want to have this as a nice tight plate. We're going to take our spoon and we're just going to compact that down. Then we have our marinated yellowfin tuna tartar. We're going to take a few spoons of that and put it on top of our Salsa Bandera. And then again, same procedure. I'm going to take the spoon and just sort of press it down to compact it. And then a little bit of pressure on the top of the tuna that we compacted down there to just keep it in place. And we're just going to slide that ring roll off. I've got some crispy truffled potato, sort of like hickory sticks. I'm just going to take that, put it right on top. There we go. Yellowfin tuna tartar on Salsa Bandera with fresh organic greens and green onion vinaigrette, finished with truffled potato straw. That is beautiful. Let's eat.